I must admit, I went in with basically I'm rotating between doing a low rep and a high rep. So I'll go in and do like a top set and then 2 down sets on whatever day it is. But usually it's like the low rep a set is anywhere between 4 and 6. Currently progressing 205 kilos on that. And then I had it like in my head today. I was like, I got 180 for 10 the last time I went for the high repper, and I fucking wanted 11. And on the 11th rep, I got it to above the shin. All I had to do was extend my hips, and the fucking strap gave way, and I just dropped it, and I just went fucking insane.
Dude, I had the same thing happen to me like 3 times in a row with my Versa grips. Every single time.
Use them.
Yeah, I really like them because it's so easy to strap in and just go.
Yes.
You don't have to wrap around with regular straps. It just takes forever.
Yeah.
So with Versa grips, you just strap in and go. And I really liked it about them. But lately, and I had them for like 6 or 7 years, so I don't blame them. But strapping in is so easy, and my right one keeps loosening during the set. It just throws me off mentally because in my mind I know, is this gonna work for another 1 or 2 reps?
Yeah.
And it just opens up and the set is over by that time.
Do you go thumbless with the Versa grips, or do you wrap your thumb do you wrap your thumb outside of the bar or inside the bar?
I always go thumbless, man. Always.
That's what I was told.
I don't know why exactly, but since I don't really have to pull my elbows in, I don't feel the need to have like a regular grip with my thumbs in. So I always use thumbless, and I always done it like that. It's just instincts, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I got told when I got them, I got told to go thumbless, and I tried it. And it just felt so foreign in comparison to gripping my thumb around the bar. But yeah, other than that, the session was good. I just need to work on like holding on for dear life on those high rep sets, because I want to get 180. I'm going to disclose some of my goals. I've written on my whiteboard that by the end of the year I want 200 for 10. So I'm 20 kilos off that right now, but I'm pretty sure I can fucking do it. I'm gonna just have to hammer myself to get that.
I'm pretty sure you can do it, because I mean your pulling and your pressing lately is very, very impressive at that body weight. So I think if you just keep doing what you're doing right now, you will progress those numbers, and good things will happen, and that 200 kg deadlift will happen for 10.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of the 180 for 10, you think, fuck, I've got 20 kilos to go. But I've done 200 for 6 before. So if you look at it like that, I'm only 4 reps off. But it's those 4 reps that are fucking hard. They are going to be brutal.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but for myself, I'm so much better with high rep deadlifts than with lower reps.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Yeah, because I often think about some of my numbers, and then I think, man, if I just go back by like 5 to 10 kgs, I can get like an extra 5 or 6 or 7 reps. That just doesn't correlate with the weight. So I'm sometimes thrown off when it comes to deadlifts and the rep ranges you use for that. But I mean, 200 for 6 is already very, very impressive at 174 you're currently at?
Yeah, mid-170s at the moment. I've stopped I'm surprised you didn't message me and say, AJ, stop the fucking hell. What the hell are you fucking doing, man?
I was just assuming you're confused, so I didn't say anything.
I was waiting for you to chime in on it and just tell me to stop doing what I was doing, but I needed a few people to do that just to get the reality check that I needed once again. I mean, for me, I think it was a case of feeling like shit. And even, listening to you and your stories when you sort of say, yeah, I don't feel that good when I have to eat this much food, and I have to... It's not so much... I don't think it was the food for me, mate. I honestly think that it was a slight combo of being almost a little bit overreached, which I managed to dissipate recently, which I'll talk about in a bit. It was a little bit of that, and also it was a little bit of... Because I'd been in this phase for so long, I was starting to get a bit lazy with the way that I would structure my food. and it was still good. You know, it was good food, but I was like my boluses of carbohydrates were just coming at awkward points. So, for example, my breakfast was very carb dense, and after that, mate, I can tell you, I just felt like I wanted to go straight back to fucking bed after eating that. And so I thought, okay, well, this is a sign that my body's starting to sort of reject nutrients, and I need to sort of bring my body weight down. And then I started getting like, oh god, I don't look that good. All these bad correlations start to come in. Your mindset starts to get fucked over.
Sure.
Because when everything's going well, you're like, this is awesome. I feel good. My training's going well. Everything's perfect. And you're like on a wicked roll and everything's spot on. You just want to keep going. And I had that for so long. And then I realized that, you know, okay, I'm going to have to start thinking a bit differently about how I'm structuring this amount of food, especially the carbohydrate total. So the simple removal of carbohydrates within meal one in my day made me feel instantly better. And even having them, like, just leaving that window of not having carbohydrates, and then even in the pre-workout meal, it wouldn't make me feel like I wanted to go straight back to sleep anymore. Yeah. That combined with the dissipation and fatigue, which I'll go into that. The reason why I dissipated some fatigue is because over the weekend of the show, where I was with my physique boys, I had a 40-minute leg session. And you know, for us, a 40-minute leg session is like a bloody warm-up. So I had a 40-minute leg session and I used one of the worst hacks I've ever fucking used in my entire life. I'm not sure if you saw it on my story, but it was abysmal. It was the worst thing I've ever used. The full depth on it was like just above parallel, but when you hit it, it's like it put your hips in a position where you felt like you were being stabbed with a knife in the left side of your hip. It was just fucking abysmal. I did a top set on it. I was like, no way am I using that ever again. So I did that, and then I took Saturday and Sunday completely off, which for me, like, to take sort of 2 consecutive rest days is pretty unusual. I don't do that a lot. And coming into Monday, I just felt so much better. And that was the minute, and also combined with a few people at the show saying, AJ, you know, you're looking like you've improved a lot. Like, keep going, kind of thing. And then on Tuesday, I put up the side chest picture that had sort of the sort of the 32-ish pound gain between the two. And I sort of instigate. I put in that message. I was like, I'm thinking about calling it quits on pulling back calories. And most of the comments were like, yeah, just keep going. And that's all I needed, really. It was a little bit of a reality check, and a little bit of change to sort of nutrition structure, and we keep pushing forwards. And you know, I don't know about you, man, but from the outside looking in, you look like you've got your mentality pretty much on lock. But do you ever have moments where you're like, you sort of have to lean on Cliff a little bit for him to sort of get you to keep going?
Dude, 100%. I mean, nobody is a machine like that. And if you try to make the most out of long off seasons, those are very, very challenging. I think you said once that you enjoy the dieting process more than you like the off season part. And I do
at the moment. I do at the moment, but I think it's because I'm still attached to what I did last year, because it just felt
because you were so successful last year and you enjoyed it so much, and you were traveling around and met new people. So all of that combined, that whole experience is so enjoyable that you enjoy that you remember those things, right? But I think this is one thing people underrate when it comes to being very productive in between shows, in between seasons. You will have phases where you feel sluggish all the time and you don't feel good. And one of the reasons I've spoken about this pretty often lately is how much time I spent in bed and how much I slept. And one of the reasons I took so many naps, and I still do, is because the feeling of sluggishness forces me to take so many naps. It's not just me. It's just not me feeling under-recovered. I also have to take a nap in order to get back to my emails and be focused and be able to, like, work, right? So I think if you really want to make great progress, you have to be aware that this is gonna happen, and you just have to stick around, because for me personally right now, my body fat percentage is not super great for the place I'm in, but it's solid. I'm okay. I can hang around here for a bit longer before I mini cut, and so there's no need to rush anything, right? Hanging around a bit longer in your calorie surplus is often better than immediately jumping to conclusions and going into a deficit. And I think so many guys do that. And because we both know how easy it is to lose a little bit of fat, and I mean, if you can do simple things like getting away from carbs and with a breakfast, like cutting carbs in the morning and eating more carbs post workout or around your workout, and that already helps with your mood and you're less sluggish, etc. That's really good, I think, and you can just postpone that next mini cut that much longer. So I would always go that route. Postpone mini cuts as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it is so easy to lose fat. It's so easy to want to hop into a deficit, and it's so easy for people to think that that's going to bring them, you know, a pot of gold. In reality, it probably won't. You know, looking back at, and I had actually a chat with Matt Bolgren. Do you know Matt Bolgren? I featured him on the Natty. Yes. Featured him on the Natty news thing because he really won an NPC show as a Natty.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, right?
And because I had chats with him about sort of the rate at which he came down, because I think he came down from like 210 to like.
I think I saw the post. I saw the post on Facebook, and you asked him in the comments about his weight, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm 165 now, and it was like 210 a few months ago." I'm like, "What the fuck? 210?"
I saw you like the comment.
I love that, man.
I asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't push up that much again, because it was a hard prep for him, and I can imagine it fucking was. It wasn't that long either. He just got it fucking off. But what he did say, and something I do really hold a fuckload of weight in, is he's been in the natural scene for a long time, and he's seen people diet down and look the same." Time in, time out, you know, every single time they look the same. And he said the main reason for it is because those people are generally staying on the leaner side of the spectrum, i.e. 15, 20 pound above. So they're staying in that sort of, you know, mate, I could stay in that 15, 20 pound above, feel good, train pretty well, and look pretty good, look like I lift, you know, all the time kind of thing. And I could be happy there. But is that really forcing the body to adapt? Is that really taking your body to the limit of progression? And he said, you know, the people that tend to get heavy and sort of create a little bit more of that cushioning, cushion for the pushing kind of thing. And when they diet down, they just look different. They just look different to anyone else. They have a different hardness to their physique. They also carry a lot more improvements. I do see that. I do see that a lot, especially. I know this sounds like so bro sciencey, but that hardness and that crisp look with, I think it comes. Actually, it's probably not that bro sciencey, because it probably actually is just density that is making the muscle look that hard and dense, and you know, the really sharp striated look that some people just cannot get. And in fact, I've seen people that stay really close to their stage where actually just look worse. Just look actually worse when they come back. And I think, and that made me really think, I think, you know, the momentary feelings that you attach to the way that you look and your physique, and that sort of maybe slight irritation with the way you're feeling, I way prefer that than looking like worse or not improved the next time. Like, that's just night and day in terms of what I prefer to have.
Yeah, man. Plus, I think if we are looking at really extended off seasons and something that we both aim to do, like if we're both going back on stage in 2020, that will be like 3 years. So that if you're looking at time frames like that, you have to make the most out of it, and you have to accept looking a bit fluffier than usual to make the most possible improvements. And a lot of people are not willing to do that, and they will they will panic, they will mini cut, they will get fatter or fat again, then will mini cut again and do the whole thing over and over again. And I think if you're really committed to a certain goal, and if you stay the course, that is crucial in your long-term improvement between seasons. So way too many people, especially the young guys, get very influenced by social media, and they look at other competitors, and they see them looking great all the time, and that's not how it works for most of us. For some it works, but not for most of us. So you have to accept looking a bit worse between your seasons to make the most possible improvements.
Yeah, and taking time out, right? Like I think I literally just watched before we chatted. I don't often watch him, but you can't argue what he does and how successful he is. But I purely watched it because it was his show day. It was Christian Guzman's show day footage. And I watched it purely out of curiosity. I thought the way that he handled his show day was absurd, if I'm honest. He ate Chick-fil-A and fucking burgers at prejudging. It just didn't make any sense. But anyway, besides that, he to me is not improved at all.
Yeah.
And he spends his off season pushing up in his body weight. Yeah, but his off seasons are the same. They're the same 4-month period in which he does probably the same numbers in the gym and doesn't really do anything new. And of course, he's got multiple things going on that's a factor in him maybe not improving as a physique athlete and putting more of his time and weight in his business, which is fair fucking play. The guy has more money than anyone in fitness, pretty much. He's an absolutely he's rolling deep. He is, but besides that, it's just proof that you do have to take a considerable amount of time out to be coming back with improvements. Even like I was mentioning. And this is the last thing I'll talk about me, and then we'll move on to you. In my 2015 off season, 2016 off season, I did do one mini cut, but it was the same sort of like, why am I doing this? Like 2 or 3 weeks in, and I just got back to gaining. And so I did get pretty fluffy, and I had to lose a lot of weight to sort of get into stage condition, but I did come back improved. Like, you can't look at that phase and argue that I didn't come back and improve. My stage weight at the first show, and I was, still a bit off, but I was probably matching my 2015 condition. I was 8 pounds heavier. So there was at least 5 pounds of tissue there, which is defying science. Because you're only allowed to gain 1.
Yeah. That's true, man. I mean, we come back to the same thing over and over again. When you are in between shows, in between seasons, don't panic, don't get too fat, don't mini cut too early, and just stay the course and progress your lifts. It's the same shit over and over again.
What do you think about taking photos in gaining phases and sort of not getting, especially as a younger competitor, not getting so dismayed by scale weight? Because people could look at scale weight and think, fuck, I'm 40 pounds above, like, how am I going to next diet? But they could still look wicked. I've seen, and he won't mind us calling him out, but Dan Park, he's pushed up a significant amount. I think his stage weight when he was a junior was 170, and mate, he's 232 right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
wow. Yeah, wow. Yeah, you should look up his IG if you haven't already followed him. He does weekly updates, and they're pretty much all shots like a front double, side chest, rear double, and he's gone from like the last sort of 3 months, he's gone from like 215 all the way up to 232, and mate, he's definitely sort of depositing body fat very well, but I can't see a huge change in his body fat level or composition to a poor degree. How much do you think of that is body fat partitioning in terms of where he stores it? Is it nice and even, or do you just think that sometimes photos allow you to push a little bit harder than you perhaps the scale would have let you if you'd just gone by the scale?
Yeah, I think if you're serious about this, you should definitely take at least bi-weekly pictures.
Yeah.
I take weekly pictures with my check-ins with Cliff, but if you don't have a coach, you can still check in with yourself basically. And I would at least take pictures every 2 weeks. So that's first of all. Secondly, some people really partition body fat very favorably. I'm one of them. People always tell me, oh my God, you look so great at this weight and at this weight. And I'm not that lean. So people always look at certain body parts, look at certain muscle groups, and based on that part, they determine your overall body fat percentage.
Like the abs.
Like the abs, of course, abs, or if you have a vein on your biceps, or you're immediately lean, right? So, and I have both of those things, so I'm super lean all the time. So, people don't look at your hams, they don't look at your glutes because they're obviously covered up. So all those things play into this. And for example, my arms look so much better when I'm in a surplus, when I'm fatter.
They look huge.
Because I store so much fat on my biceps, man. No joke. People don't believe me. They always tell me, oh, your arms are not a weakness. My biceps is certainly a weakness. My triceps is saving me.
I wish I stored body fat on my arms. Fuck me. I don't store anything. So they just look shit all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome in the off season, but then when you diet down for like 4 weeks, I have no arms left. So
at least I'm reminded. I'm reminded all the time that they're shit, so I have to train the hell out of them.
Yeah. So I mean, storing body fat in your biceps or around your biceps is not the worst, but then again, it can warp your perception of what is a real weakness and what is a strength. So you have to be very careful where you store body fat and really look at stage pictures, and then again look at pictures in your off season and take frequent pictures to really determine where you store all the body fat. So I'm pretty sure I could gain another 5 kgs and still look fairly the same, but then I would be really fat, right?
You'd have to lose that 5 kg though, exactly.
Because I would store it in a place that's already kind of fat, and that would be just too much at that point. And my abs would still look the same.
So, cool. So enough about me. Let's shut up about AJ, and don't worry, he's not trying to get lean anymore. We'll stop doing stupid stuff, and I'll probably rely on a few more eyes when it comes to looking at photos and people just to tell me to keep going. So that's that. Now yourself, Val, how has your past week been? I want sort of I'm going to ask you a question as to what's going on with your training at the moment. I see you doing multiple 3 sets of 5. What's going on with that? Explain to the listeners why that's sort of the current approach, and just give us a bit of an update.
Yeah, man. So lately I've gone back to the program Cliff has given me like 3 weeks ago, but I've trained with so many people the past 3 weeks. Lot, right? Yes, that I did sometimes their training and then tried to get back to my own program. So it was very inconsistent as far as that goes. Okay. So the current program is set up with 3 sets of 5 for the following split. We have chest and arms, then we have legs, and then with back and delts. And there are 2 different sessions for each body part or for each day. And the first one is 3 sets of 5 for everything. You stay away from failure. It's basically very heavy, yes, but you do plenty of sets. So Cliff likes to pound the volume, and he always does. And it's just, the sessions are back to 3 hours already. So
fucking hell, man.
Well, yeah, once I start progressing these lifts, it's gonna be even longer, I guess. But I'm fine with it because it helps with appetite. I sleep very well.
Yeah, I bet you're fucking knackered. You're doing a marathon each day.
and it's kind of boring. But if you with this program, I'm able to select my own lifts, so I don't have any prescribed exercises. I just select them myself.
Oh, okay, cool.
And which is pretty cool, yeah. And I just chose exercises I want to get strong on, and I haven't done in quite a while. So that's for the first day, and for the second day we have like all sets up between 10 and 20 reps, and usually the last set of every exercise is rest pause, but it's not classic rest pause. It's not like DC style rest pause where you have 3 failure points. It's just taking all 3 mini sets very, very close to failure, but you have you have just a few reps in reserve.
Yeah.
So Cliff just wants me to accumulate even more volume on those days, and they are more focused on isolation exercise and machines, basically, especially if you want to do rest pause with them.
Okay.
So that's my current setup, and I still have to find my groove with this program. I think, for one, because the last program was so successful, the one I started doing in, I think, February, that I did for like 3 months, and that was one of the best programs I've ever done, with so much arm work and so much delt work. I absolutely loved it, and legs and chest just once a week.
Sure.
So that was a lot of fun. And this program is, I have to readjust and get my head back into this program. But I'm sure I will be able to make that happen very soon.
Yeah, sure. So are you still training the same amount per week in terms of training days? Are you training more, training less, or?
Yeah, it's the same day, 5 days a week. Cliff really likes training at a steady 5 days a week frequency. So all his programs are set up in that way. And to be quite honest, I really need 2 rest days a week.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine training like 6 days a week. It would be very, very tough.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm really even on the edge of making that 5th day work. So maybe on some weeks, if I'm really stressed with work, 4 days would be even more ideal.
Okay.
But 5 days is pretty solid for me. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Have you ever thought about splitting the volume more and doing shorter sessions and training 6 days, or do you prefer having the 4-day off and then hammering it when you go in and do the session?
I really do, man, because I tried 2-a-days in the past when I did my own programming.
Yeah, I've tried that for like a month. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, I don't know how people are able to do it for an extended period of time.
Me neither.
Because
man.
it's just because it's simple stuff like going to the gym twice a day that just stresses me out.
It's up here. It's mentally. I can't engage twice.
Yeah, exactly. And it really comes down to your mentality, I guess. So we are, I assume, quite similar when it comes to training and how we approach training. Yep. And we just want to attack, and I can only attack once a day, basically. I can't do that shit in the morning and then 6 hours later in the evening. That's not going to work.
No way.
So 2-a-days, it's not really for me. I could probably split up the volume by juggling around with some of the muscle groups. But I really don't want to touch that too much and just adhere to the program as it's written.
Yeah.
But that's what my current training looks like. And I mean, the training sessions with Kevin are a lot of fun. You saw some of the clips. He's obviously very strong, and I can hang on some exercises, but it's still very humbling to be beaten on pretty much anything. And to me, that is very motivating. So some people might be not motivated by that, but for me, it's the exact opposite, because I really like the way he approaches training. He's very intense, he's very focused, and I can really relate to that. So I'm sure we're gonna continue training together for quite a while. So
is Kevin competing this year? Is he taking a full year out?
To my current knowledge, he's competing next year, but I don't know exactly when.
Sure.
But for somebody of his size and with his metabolism, the off season is quite a struggle, because he has to eat so much, and he's forcing down like over 6,000 calories a day.
Jesus.
And he told me it's just not a lot of fun. And actually, the dieting phase is for him quite a nice break from eating.
I bet.
So I think he like diets for 12 weeks or something for a show. That's it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because it comes off so quickly. And he's one of those guys, when he's like carb depleting, he's still eating 300 to 400 grams of carbs.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
So for someone like him, the lifting part is the most enjoyable, and the eating part is quite horrible. It's just the way
I
it
mean,
is.
you see some like crazy people with that, like Roman Fritz is another example.
Yeah.
I think he's eating like 700, 600 carb and dieting kind of thing.
Insane, man. Insane.
But very, very low fat. Like, very low fat. Like, if you've ever read any of his old forum posts, he documented his whole journey to getting the pro card again, because he got it twice, kind of thing. So once he got denied it. And it's just like every meal is like a lean protein source and rice cakes, and that's it. No added fat throughout the entire day. So his fats must be like, I don't know, trace 25.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
I feel
crazy,
so
man.
that just goes straight through you.
That's crazy, man. Wow.
You must feel
Yeah,
so fucking horrid. I
yeah,
I've had my fats at the lowest during prep. They were I did a whole week at 30, and I felt like so bad, so
yeah,
bad. It
yeah,
immediately made me feel really horrible. And even
yeah.
just an additional 5 to 10 grams made a huge difference.
Mm,
It was just general mood and cognitive functioning. Like
yeah,
I became like so completely inept in terms of doing any sort of task when I was
yeah,
on that low fat. I just couldn't do anything. Couldn't focus. I felt like sort of hypo all the time. I felt really lightheaded. So God knows. I mean, I know sort of assisted athletes potentially have it a bit different, but I've seen some people doing, phases of really pushing calories very low, and at the end of a prep and having to get very low fat. I just don't know how. I don't know how you hang on. Especially in the weights room. I know
yeah.
Cliff. I know Cliff actually prefers sort of keeping fats at a minimum of around 50. So, did yours get
Yeah.
any lower than that? Have you experienced sort of any other diets where you've gone specifically low fat?
I've gone lower before working with Cliff,
Yeah,
and I'm just the same as you. I feel horrible on that, man.
yeah,
I mean, anything below 40 is just it's just a
it's
nightmare,
hard.
even
It's
if your
hard.
carbs stay up. So I know, yeah, Cliff likes to have like the 50-gram mark for guys, and I really agree with him there.
Mm,
I mean, sometimes with some clients you might have to go lower,
mm,
but just for a very short period of time, for like a week or two, that's it.
sure.
But yeah, I'm just the same as you, and I mean anything under 40 grams is just hellish, man. That's not good.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, have you got any questions that have come through over the past sort of weeks that have intrigued you or grabbed your attention at all from either listeners or just general discussion on Instagram that you thought this could be a topic of discussion at all?
To be quite honest, I haven't looked prior to our chat today.
Okay.
As far as because I have written down all the questions I get from people asking on Instagram, but let me just check real
Yeah, have a
quick.
look.
Um, the thing with questions is it's very often, I mean, very often people ask a question that it can be answered so quickly and it's
Yes.
so short and
Do
it's
you
so
just reply?
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just reply and that's it because
Yeah.
it's like 5 words and dude, there you go, just do your thing. It's not really worth waiting a whole week until we get to the episode and answer your question.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So
Let me see. We had some ones today that have come through that I didn't answer properly, or I gave them like one word answers. I've noticed you have been chilling out a little bit more. I noticed you went to like a what was it? What do they call them? Fuck. Where you see fish. That place.
yeah.
What the fuck do they call those things? An
I mean,
aquarium.
it has a specific name here. The place has a specific name,
What
but
is
I
it
don't
called?
know. It was fun, man. Yeah, I haven't been
Yeah.
there in like 7 years, so it
Yeah,
was like
we've got them
hidden
around
gem.
here. They're called sea life centres.
Yeah. So yeah,
You go like walk with the fish.
yeah, that thing. Yeah, I
So
mean they
are
had
you
like
enjoying sort of doing things like that and getting out of routine a little bit? And are you experiencing, are you trying to enjoy that now because you know that in prep it's not as feasible, or there it should be, it's just not as feasible?
I think it's just happening more now that I'm seeing a girl. That's the
Oh,
main reason.
nice. Yeah, cool.
And the thing during prep, I mean, it could be a nice distraction,
Yeah.
doing stuff and just collecting steps and being more active. But usually I'm the guy that has to be asked out for that kind of stuff because
Yeah,
by
same.
myself, I just don't go there. I would just stay at home and write training programs basically and work all the time. That's just
Yeah, me too.
yeah. I'm not saying that's better, not necessarily.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a very bad thing,
Yeah, it
but
is. Yeah.
getting out of the house but getting out of your place is a good thing, and just have to see how you manage it with your whole lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the
So
same. I'm the same, mate. I'm actually going to Rome next week, so I'm going with a friend. So I'm
Nice.
certainly going to be out and that's why I'm absolutely hammering myself this week. I should really be deloading this week, but I'm just going to hammer myself, and then Tuesday, I'm going Tuesday to Saturday, so that works perfectly. I'm probably going to take Monday off or do a light upper body session, and then there will be a gym in Rome, but we'll be doing, plenty. I've been to Rome before. Have you been?
I haven't been. No.
It's a lovely city, man. You should take the girl you're seeing there. It's amazing. It's like it's if you like culture, you'll love Rome, because there's a lot of culture and there's a lot of sort of sights to see. So yeah, going there, and I'll definitely have a bit of a back off and a bit of eating like a normal person kind of thing.
Yep.
Actually just probably having 3 meals a day and just not really caring about the fucking macros. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that for sure. And I think it's important because in prep, I'd look at a holiday like that, and in my head I know that I could go and be fine and come back and be bang on, and it would probably do me a lot of favors. But I wouldn't go.
Yep.
I just wouldn't do it, because prep is prep, and I just want I don't know, there's just something in me that I couldn't hit a front relaxed and think, have I poured everything into this, and have I done everything? Is there a guy standing to the left of me that didn't go to Rome?
Yeah, I mean,
I hate that, but it's true.
Sure, man. This is one of those things that is hard to explain to outsiders and to people that are not into it as much as we are, because even though, you pour so much into this, and this is what we do for a living, with coaching and everything. And people only associate like living off something that's related to sports with, I don't know, playing basketball, playing soccer, or being like a high level athlete in one of those sports. But when you then say, well, I'm competing in natural bodybuilding, everybody is looking at you like, what the hell are you doing, right? So it's hard to explain sometimes, but I'm sorry?
It is, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it is. And you just have to, like you just said, I'm the same as you. When it comes to social events and stuff like that, I just have to be dragged out of my place to really participate. But then again,
but once you're there, you enjoy it, right?
Exactly. You're almost surprised how great it is because you haven't seen it in so long.
This is nice having friends.
Wow, holy shit! Yeah, but yeah, that's. That's part of the reason why I really like what I'm doing, and I think we are good at what we do, is because we just like to do what we're doing right now. Basically, when I have a conversation with anybody at the gym, it's always about the stuff that I do or the stuff that we do, right? Or when I have a conversation with my sister or with my mom or whatever, it's always about that kind of stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Just
24/7 bodybuilding all the time.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's the same thing. I try and switch off when I talk to my sister or my dad at home. I try and discuss other stuff, but it's hard not to.
It's
like
tough,
you said,
because
the life revolves around it. If my dad's going to ask me a question, he's going to ask, how was training, or how was your work day, and they're both the fucking same.
Yep.
But yeah, it is what it is.
Of course.
Actually, I just got a message off, like literally whilst we're talking, I just got a message off Mr. Nunes himself, saying, he replied to one of my deadlift videos saying, you would be so effective on a powerlifting platform. Have you ever thought about this yourself? Have you ever thought about doing a meet? Personally, for me, I've had thoughts, but I always think no, because from my opinion, I'd rather have a really cool 4 or 5 rep max than do a 1 rep max and get hurt. I'm more intrigued to see what I can do for 10 than what I can do for 1. That's always been what I revert back to. Are you the same?
Yeah, 100%, man. You phrased that beautifully, because even with higher rep ranges, I'm really intrigued what I can do there compared to a 1 rep max. It's hard to put in words how less I care about my 1 rep max on anything. I really don't care, man. And if at all, I would probably attempt it on something really stupid like curls. But with my deadlift, I really couldn't care less. And
Yes.
the deadlift is my favorite lift out of all of them.
Is it?
And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I just when I hear deadlift, I think more about what I could do for 10 or 15 or even 20 than I would ever think about what I could do for one single fucking rep. I really couldn't care less. So
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the past I thought definitely about powerlifting, but that was after my very first competitive season in 2014, which was a horrible time to start training for something like that, because I was really beat up. My joints were messed up, and then I started doing triples and fives and singles, and I wasn't really strong at that point as well. So that didn't make a lot of sense. But training for powerlifting, I think, is so different than what we do that I couldn't really get myself to do it long term. Maybe for a short period of time, but like you said, doing AMRAP steps or anything like that with higher rep range is so much more fun than doing singles, triples, and fives. I guess
it is for us, at least, for sure. And I think some people poorly correlate hypertrophy with powerlifting training, and they think, oh wow, look at some of these powerlifters, like they just do the big three and they're jacked, and you're forgetting genetics, guys. Like, you know, they've responded extremely well to just picking up a dumbbell, picking up a barbell, and moving it in any sort of plane of motion that provides tension will make them grow.
100%.
And a lot of some of the best powerlifters came from a bodybuilding background. If you look at Bryce Lewis, bodybuilding background. If you look at, I don't know whether you follow him, a guy on Instagram called Power Dentist. He does dentistry, and he's also extremely jacked and is IPF Worlds qualified kind of thing. He's look him up, man, when we're finished. He's fucking awesome. Like, his quads, oh my god, he's just an absolutely ridiculous athlete. I'll try and pop a photo up and I'll whack it on the screen. But and a lot of people will correlate what he's done and be like, wow, he's just doing the big three and that's why he looks that way, and that's not true at all, because he competed in natural bodybuilding before he was ever powerlifting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I know. It's ridiculous.
That is crazy. Yes.
The middle shot, yeah, fair play, that's deadlifts.
Yes,
but,
yes, 100%, man.
But the rest, that's so a lot of hypertrophy training there. He's absolutely wicked. I think he's got a wicked bodybuilding physique, and he's completely jog free as well. But then, you know, a lot of the intermediate lifters or even, you know, beginner lifters will look at that and think, yeah, like big three kind of thing, or they'll train for a powerlifting meet because they essentially get to the point where they're stagnant in their off season, and they'll start, you know, trying to gather the motivation. They'll need something competitive, so they think, oh yeah, great, powerlifting makes sense, and either they'll be a piss poor, suboptimal or subpar powerlifter because they'll still want to do bodybuilding training, so they won't fully invest in powerlifting, or they'll become a piss poor, suboptimal bodybuilder because they'll ditch all their hypertrophy work and do a load of strength-based stuff with the big three. And then they'll start dieting down for the next season, and they'll be like, oh shit, I haven't actually improved here. And then they'll wonder why they've pissed away a year doing powerlifting training and now have a fucked spine and really, really bad elbows.
I think people once again, people look at the freaks and think they can just do the exact same thing like the freaks and will grow and progress the same way. I mean, if you look like at somebody who's crazy strong and looks amazing, is Dan Green. And I mean, if you look at Dan Green, he's very, very muscular. He's probably one of the thickest guys. Yeah, he's crazy, man. But then again, when you look at what his training is like on like his push day, he's doing the bench, but then he's doing like military presses. He's doing regular dumbbell bench presses. He's doing side laterals, dips. He's basically doing bodybuilding training, man.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
He does that almost right before the meet. So you really have to look at the little details of somebody's training program and their long-term career and what they do over years and years and years, and not just look at like a highlight on social media when they pull 900 for a triple or whatever.
I actually watched Dallas McCarver's one of his old videos of him. I think he pulled over 800 or something. And
He did,
him and Matt Jansen put together like a video of some of his training before he did that, and they had a clip of him doing a giant set, and it was basically training through the strength curve. So he'd start with a standard deadlift, then go to a below the knee rack pull, and then go to a shin height rack pull, all after one another, and they were all well over 405 pounds, like well over.
Insane, man. I think Dusty Henshaw did something very similar lately. I think he did like 600 plus deadlift from the floor, and then he went straight into rack pulls from below or right above the knee with the same weight, and he just wrapped it up. Boom, 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 boom. Crazy, man.
Jesus, yeah, ridiculous. And I think, some people do say that you're essentially given or granted your ability. I think some of your ability to sort of recover from a lower back perspective is just kind of set in stone, and people just have different recovery capabilities for your lower back. But I think you can also, and this is dependent on where you're at, obviously body fat levels, caloric intake, etc., and all your other training and how that is impacting lower back recovery capabilities. But having looked at the way that I, have progressed my deadlift, I've been in positions where I've been doing more deadlifting, slightly more deadlifting, but with much lower loads, and had hideous lower back DOMs, and been in the same position sort of calorically, similar position with other movements, training days, body fat levels, like everything, But I think I've slowly adapted and found a groove that works.
Yes.
And for me, that really has been actually removing the belt and not relying on a belt to brace against, and actually bracing with my actual core, gaining core stability, and using my erectors essentially, as opposed to relying on a belt just to keep me safe, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's been a game changer for me, and not that will work for everyone, but it's been a big element in making sure that I can recover, and also just deadlifting properly, and making sure that I'm very analytical when it comes to, okay, is this just a bit of thoracic rounding, or is this lumbar rounding, and we're seeing something that I don't want to see? And the minute you, to be fair, I think from a deadlift perspective, the minute you start seeing something you don't want to see, you start feeling it, because you'll pull and it just doesn't feel good. And I've had that a few times when I've been lean and trying to retain numbers, and I've just pulled and it just doesn't, it just feels like I'm just ripping my spine apart, basically. And I don't think that's exactly what we're trying to do when we're deadlifting.
Not at all, man. And
no.
Actually, now that you mentioned ripping your spine apart, the last time I deadlifted with Kevin, I used the Texas deadlift bar. I mentioned it on the Instagram on Instagram.
I read that.
And you commented, and I hate that freaking thing, because I will never ever use that bar again, because I didn't pull the slack out of the bar. I just pulled it like a regular stiff bar, and that means
two-part deadlift.
Yeah, exactly.
Like bang, bang.
All of a sudden, all the weight is off the floor, and you shift forward slightly.
Yeah.
And your lower back has to work even harder in the mid portion of the lift, and it's just freaking horrible, man. It felt awful. The first rep felt awful. The second and the third one, and I didn't even make the fourth one. So
see, that's the thing. I don't think the Texas deadlift bar that I use at my gym. Apparently it is, and it says Texas deadlift bar on the knurling, inside the barbell. But I just don't think it is, because I look at, and we had similar loading on the bar. I think you had a bit more. I think you had, what did you have on there? 220?
220, yeah.
On there? Yeah, 220 at least on the one that you did for 4 or 5 reps. And I had 205 on the bar when I did my set of 5, and there was hardly any. In comparison, the flex in your barbell was much greater, and that's, the load isn't hugely different, so the flex should be fairly similar. And I didn't feel the flex that much. I do feel a difference to the barbell which I use today, which is just a standard. I prefer the barbells with a smaller diameter in terms of the gripping the barbell, as opposed to the ones with a slightly wider diameter. We have 2 bars in the underground gym. So I don't think it's a proper Texas deadlift bar. I just don't think it is. But some people love them. Some people, like, I have two clients that I coach, James and Kane, and they both go to a gym which definitely has one. I've seen the whip on it. And they both really like it. They both actually pull better on that than they do with a stiffer barbell. I think Jordan, I keep calling him Trained by JP. I think Jordan doesn't like the Texas that much. I think he bought one. And I saw one of his training videos when he first bought it, and it was one of the ones where he like threw his headphones off and got really annoyed because it was one of those sessions where it just wasn't moving as it should.
I love those moments, man.
Yeah, me too, man. I laugh so much.
When he gets angry, man, that's where I definitely tune in, man. I love that.
I'd pay $6.99 just to see clips of Jordan getting angry. I just love that shit.
I want to see broken headphones every single time I log on.
There was an old one of him. I think like he was a week out from one of his shows, and he was doing like a back workout, and he was wearing the overhead beats, and like they got in the way of the machine, and he just took them off and ripped them in two. And he said, "I fucking hate these headphones."
Dude, that's beautiful. That's prep right there for you.
So worth it.
But yeah, I mean,
cool.
with the Texas deadlift bar, the thing is usually you should be stronger on that thing. I wasn't.
I think you should. Yeah.
Yeah, because not all the weights lift off the floor at the same time, so you basically the resistance increases slowly, and most people can pull more with that bar. But it's just so freaking whippy. And if you're not used to that, it's a completely different lift. And like I said, the deadlift is a lift that I really like. I'm quite good at deadlifts, but not with that bar. So I will definitely go back to the stiff bar because it's just that much more predictable what happens once the plates go off the floor. Because with the Texas deadlift bar, it's just whatever. I don't know what's going on.
It's like a trampoline. You just don't know where it's fucking going.
What the hell is happening?
It's like deadlifting with one of those. Have you seen those other barbells which like they're so flexible that the weights can like completely shake? People use them for like bench presses. Yeah,
the tsunami bar.
Yeah, tsunami bars.
Yeah. What the hell? I think they sell them on Elite FTS.
Yes.
And I think there's some old footage of Dave Tate like doing rows with them and stuff like that, and it's just hilarious, man. Where he's rowing like 135 with the bar and it's whipping all around him. So yeah.
That would actually tear apart your CNS, I think.
Yeah.
The neurological ability to try and stabilize the bar and do a row.
Yeah, man. Plus, it's even funnier when somebody like Dave Tate with 2 replaced hips is doing an exercise like that. So.
And they've just made a series, haven't they, on fixing him apparently? Like
with what's his name? I forgot John Rubin, the doctor. I don't know if that's.
I haven't watched many of them, but
some of them are quite funny, but it's basically trying to not. Yeah, he's not breaking him in half is the goal, I guess. So yeah.
I'm not surprised he's so fucked up. He's done a lot of crazy shit in his life. Yeah,
and he's still doing like speed singles with 10 different bands and chains and stuff like that. So I don't know what goal is there, because I would assume just traditional hypertrophy training would serve him best, but nope. So
have you ever seen Chris Duffin?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like he's. I think he's probably one of the most insane people I've ever seen.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He made me want to pull sumo after my shows because of his like 1,000-pound sumo goal. And he's like repping out like 600 pounds. It just looks so fucking cool. But he's had so many injuries, like countless injuries. What was it he recently did? I think he what was it? He was squatting every single day.
I think he was squatting. Was it 700?
Yeah, I think it was 700. It was something ridiculous.
700
it wasn't even on a straight barbell. It was on I think it was on a cambered bar.
Yeah, because he can't grab a straight bar.
Oh, I see. He's so fucked up.
I think it's on his own designed Buffalo bar, basically a modified Buffalo bar, and I think it was 700 for 30 straight days.
Yeah.
So that's pretty insane. Yeah,
Oh god.
it's
Yeah,
not a
it's
lot of
horrible.
volume, but yeah.
Have you ever used have you ever used a cambered squat bar? I've seen Mike Israel use them a lot, and Jared Feather.
I haven't because I just go straight to the safety bar because
Okay.
it's just that much more comfortable. I mean, the bar is up higher and the center of gravity is different,
Okay.
but I really don't like grabbing the bar out here because I really can't grab the bar here because of my elbow, and
Yeah.
so I simply go to the safety squat bar because that's the most comfortable, and
That's the
plus
rationale behind you using it, I guess. Then the elbows.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We also have like a cambered safety bar.
Oh,
It's
okay.
also by Elite FTS. It's called a spider bar, and it's absolutely brutal because once you shift the weight just a little bit and you give a little pull or a little push, the weight shifts because of the camber, and all of a sudden the center of gravity changes when you're in the bottom, and you have to be very very careful with that bar because you cannot use safety pins because it's cambered, right? So
Yeah.
basically have to squat out in the open and just die there. Yeah.
Just hope for the best.
Hope for the best, yeah. Just do or die, man.
Cool. Wicked. Well, I think that's been a pretty cool synopsis of where we're at.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll be away next week, so we'll probably we'll probably have to miss next week unless we get one in early. But we'll catch up when I get back, which is usually quite good for us anyway, because we kind of like doing them every two. I think it keeps listeners a bit more engaged. I think the views will probably kick up a little bit with a sort of a lower frequency but a higher value. Anything else you wanted to add at all, Valentin?
Not really, man. I mean, I am in Germany this Saturday. I give a seminar with Andreas
Oh, great, cool.
in Cologne.
Okay.
And we'll travel there on Friday and get back to Vienna on Sunday. And yeah, man, I can't wait until you come to Vienna because we get so much cool shit in the next few weeks.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, we just have to talk.
Yes, we do. We have to book that in. We'll get that sorted, and then you need to search out for an Austrian videographer to get some just wacky
Dude,
footage
yes.
of us.
Yes,
Because we
yes.
don't want to fucking film ourselves. We just want to train.
No. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So yeah,
Will do.
that'll be wicked. So guys, definitely look forward to that because at some point this summer definitely, I'll be heading to Vienna for a short time period, and me and Valentin will get in some fucking cool sessions.
Yep, for sure,
I
man.
can't wait for that. That'll be wicked.
For sure,
so,
man.
yeah, guys, thank you again for listening. As usual, give us a share on your stories, tag us both in it, and we'll share it across to ours so we can sort of spam our feed with how much love we're getting and show people how popular we are. We always like that. It's a nice little confidence boost, right? And then yeah, we'll chat again in a fortnight. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Bye bye.
Bye bye.